Choosing myself was the hardest thing I have ever did.
When people later talked about the day everything changed for Lena, they always pointed to the argument. But Lena knew the truth. It didn't start with an argument. It started with silence. Lena was the kind of girl people described as easy to forget. Not because she was invisible, but because she never demanded space. She listened more than she spoke. She remembered birthdays. She stayed late to help clean up after meetings she hadn't even wanted to attend. She was always there, and somehow that made people assume she always would be. Lena lived with her mother and two younger brothers in a small apartment that always smelled faintly of detergent and fried onions. Her mother worked long shifts, so Lena became the second parent without ever being asked. She cooked. She helped with homework. She learned how to stretch one meal into three. At school, Lena was dependable. Teachers trusted her. Friends leaned on her. If someone needed notes, Lena had them. If someone needed to vent, Lena listened. If someone needed help with a project at the last minute, Lena stayed up late. She told herself this was what kindness looked like. But kindness, she would later learn, should not cost you your voice. It began to weigh on her slowly. A friend named Mara would call late at night, crying about problems she never asked Lena about in return. Lena would listen until her eyes burned, whispering comfort into the dark. Another friend, Joel, constantly borrowed money he never paid back. Lena told herself it was okay. He needed it more. Group projects always ended with Lena doing the most work. When she gently suggested splitting tasks fairly, someone would joke, "Relax, Lena's got it." And she would smile, because saying no felt heavier than carrying everything herself. Then came the school festival. Every year, the school held a cultural festival, and this year, Lena's class was in charge of organizing the main presentation. It was a big deal. Teachers, parents, and even people from the local community would attend. Lena had ideas, good ones. She had written them down carefully in her notebook. She imagined colorful decorations, a meaningful theme, something that would make people feel proud. At the planning meeting, she finally spoke up. "I think we should center the presentation around stories," she said softly. "Like real-life experiences from students. It would make it more personal." The room went quiet for a moment. Then someone laughed. "That sounds like too much work," Mara said. "We don't have time for that." Joel shrugged. "Let's just do what we always do. It works." The teacher looked around. "Any objections?" Lena opened her mouth. Then she closed it. "No," she said. And just like that, her idea disappeared. The planning moved forward without her input. Tasks were assigned quickly. Lena was given 3 responsibilities instead of 1. She wanted to protest. She wanted to explain she was already overwhelmed. She wanted someone to notice. But instead, she nodded. That night, Lena sat on her bed, her notebook open on her lap. The pages with her ideas stared back at her like something unfinished. She felt a strange tightness in her chest, something between sadness and anger. She told herself she was being dramatic. "This is what being reliable looks like," she thought. As the festival approached, things fell apart. Decorations were late. People forgot their lines. Joel missed meetings. Mara stopped responding to messages. Each time something went wrong, Lena was the one teachers called. "Can you fix this? Can you stay after school? Can you handle it?" And she did, until the night before the festival. Lena was sitting at the kitchen table, surrounded by paper, tape, and her laptop. Her brothers were asleep. Her mother was on a late shift. The apartment was quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator. Her phone buzzed. A message from Mara. "Hey, can you cover my part tomorrow? I'm really tired and stressed." Lena stared at the screen. Something inside her snapped. Not loudly, not dramatically, but cleanly, like a thread pulled too tight. She typed back slowly. "I can't." 3 words. That was all. The reply came almost instantly. Wow. After everything. Another message followed. I didn't know you were like this. Lena's hands shook. Her heart raced. The familiar urge rose. Explain, apologize, fix. She started typing. Then she stopped. She deleted the message. She put her phone face down and went to bed. The next day, the festival was chaos. Mara didn't show up on time. Joel forgot his part completely. Decorations were uneven. The teacher looked stressed. And for the first time, Lena didn't rush to save everyone. She did her assigned role. Nothing more. People noticed. During a break, Mara confronted her behind the stage. Why didn't you help me? She demanded. You embarrassed me. Lena felt dozens of eyes watching them. Her throat tightened. I was overwhelmed, Lena said quietly. I needed help too. Mara scoffed. You always say yes. Why change now? The words hit harder than a slap. Why change now? Because she was tired. Because she mattered too. Because saying yes had started to feel like disappearing. I can't always carry everything, Lena said. Mara rolled her eyes. You're being selfish. The word echoed in Lena's head. Selfish. For the rest of the day, people avoided her. Conversation stopped when she approached. Whispers followed her steps. By the end of the festival, Lena felt alone in a room full of people. She went home numb. Days passed. Friends didn't text. Group chats went quiet. At school, Lena ate lunch alone. Teachers seemed distant, unsure of what had happened. She questioned herself constantly. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe I should have helped. Maybe I ruined everything. One afternoon, as she sat under a tree during lunch, her literature teacher, Mrs. Adebayo, sat beside her. You've been very quiet lately, she said gently. Lena shrugged. I guess people don't need me anymore. Mrs. Adebayo studied her for a moment. Or maybe they only noticed you when you were useful. Lena looked up, startled. The teacher continued. Tell me something. When you stopped overextending yourself, did you stop being kind, or did others stop benefiting? The question stayed with Lena long after the bell rang. That evening, Lena opened her old notebook. She reread her ideas, her thoughts, her words. She realized something painful but freeing. She had trained people how to treat her. By always saying yes, she had taught them she had no limits. By staying silent, she had taught them her voice didn't matter. Change, she realized, always feels like betrayal to people who benefited from your silence. Slowly, Lena began rebuilding. Not her friendships, but herself. She joined the writing club. She spoke up in class. She said no without explaining herself for hours. Some people never came back. Others apologized quietly. New friendships formed, slower, gentler, built on respect instead of convenience. Months later, at another school event, Lena stood on stage reading a short piece she had written. It was about a girl who learned that being kind did not mean being invisible. The applause was warm and real. And for the first time, Lena felt seen, not because she carried everything, but because she finally stood where she belonged. Moral of the story, being kind should never require you to erase yourself. The people who truly value you will respect your boundaries, not punish you for them.